Hey traders, Zep here for the Trader's Edge. In this video I'm gonna talk quickly about day trading, and in the second part of the video I will reveal a little bit about my stop hunt strategy. So let's dive into it. What is day trading, or what does it mean? So I'm not gonna give you a Wikipedia definition for it, but I'm gonna tell you what it means to me. I have the feeling that a lot of traders misunderstanding the meaning of day trading, because what I see on websites and forums that most of the people actually mistake day trading with scalping. That means that a lot of traders think you open your charts every day, what I actually do, but also taking several trades across different pairs during the day. And in my opinion, that is a common mistake, because what day trading actually means is that you open your charts every day for sure, but you are just looking for good opportunities to trade. In the end, it could be that you take 3 trades, but it could or should also mean that sometimes you don't take any trades at all for 2 to 3 days in a row. And you probably heard that a lot, but patience is the key to success, and you can't force the market to move every day in your favor. If you try to force the market, you will fail, definitely. A shitty example for this would be imagine that I have a certain amount of money and I want to buy a used car. So what I'm going to do is not to buy 5 cheap cars that will eventually break down one after another. I'm gonna do some research and wait patiently for a good offer to pop up. And even then, you can't be 100% sure that this car is gonna be in perfect shape for the next 2 years. So for me, day trading means to look for high probability setups every day where I'm confident to take a trade. And maybe I will close this trade intraday, but it could happen that I hold this trade for several days, depending on the setup and trade management. So that's my view on day trading. Now I'm gonna show you something. Some might say they know it already, but I don't think so, because I haven't seen talking anyone on the web about it. And first, you should know that the 4 strategies that I trade are not based on any lagging indicators like stochastic, RSI, and so on, simply because they are based on past price. But what I'm actually interested in when I look at the chart is what is happening right now. So price itself for me is the best indicator. And all the strategies that I trade and how I look at how price behaves comes from thousands of hours looking at charts over and over again, trying to decipher how big banks driving the markets. And now I want you to look at this USD JPY 1-hour chart from last week first. And to get a little bit more structure onto the chart, we're gonna make right click, go to properties, go to common, and enable show period separators. This is going to show us these vertical lines, and in each space in here represents now 1 day. Now I'm going to show you a Euro USD chart from the week before that looks like this, and we can switch from USD JPY to Euro USD back and forth. And do you see anything these two charts have in common? If not, don't worry, but I hope with training your eyes for it, you will see it much faster in the future, because if you see what I'm going to show you now, you will have definitely one strategy that will work forever and has a really high probability value. So I already marked some lines on the USD JPY chart for you. That looks like this. And let's assume you don't see the price until here. And what you should do is draw a major trend line connecting the recent lowest lows, this one right here. Now you can clearly see how price moved away from this trend line with a lot of momentum, and while doing so, it built actually a much steeper short-term trend line, which you can find here. And now let's take a look at the Euro USD 1-hour chart I showed you before. Surprise, surprise. Major trend line, momentum move to the upside, building a steeper trend line and a lot of free space between the trend line and the actual price. So I hope now this looks a little bit familiar to you when you compare these two charts. So how would you trade this? You would enter at the break of this range here, and you can put your stop above here, and your potential target will be near this major trend line. And this pattern occurs in any liquidity markets forever. And it already occurred like in the markets for a long, long time. And take a look at this graph, for example, that's coming in now of a pump and dump for cryptocurrency. That's the same thing. You have this huge space between this trend line, momentum move to the upside with this bull trap on top, and it's coming back down. And of course, if we go back to the Euro-USD chart and scroll, this was like 2 weeks ago, and this also happens like the other way around. You can see you have this major trend line, momentum move to the upside with a steeper short-term trend line, break of the range, you go going to the upside, back to the major trend line. And this happens quite a lot. For example, here last week on gold, same pattern, major trend line, huge momentum move to the upside. That was gold. Then we have Euro CHF last week, same thing, major trend line, momentum move to the downside, and price went up again, breaking that range. And if you go back to the Euro-USD chart, we can scroll back in time a little bit. I marked some here. I probably even missed some in between, but here, for example, you have another example: price, momentum move to the upside, steeper trend line, break of the range, goes to the downside. Let's go further. I definitely missed some in between. Here is another one. And I don't know how many I marked. Here is another one. And another one. I think that was about it. Let's go to our first example. But as you can see, this pattern occurs across all pairs, even commodities, over and over again, and it happens several times per month. And the one I marked before, let's go back again a little bit. I marked one here with a darker green. And because there are 2 additional rules that can filter out lower quality setups. Remember, you always should buy only the best car, not the cheapest car. So this is not like a perfect example because like 2 additional rules are not entirely filled. So how do I find this pattern without going through 30 pairs every day in every hour? For this, I additionally have like a custom indicator which looks like this. Drag it onto the charts. You don't have anything in the inputs really, just press OK, and this pops up here. You can also put it on USDJPY. And this candle right on this break, it would have given you the entry signal. So, and for this indicator, I have a scanner which scans all the pairs I want. And if I get a notification via pop-up, mail or mobile, I go to my chart, mark the trend lines for this particular pair. If it fits the rules, I take the trade. Like not every signal is depending on a trend line and a momentum move. That's your analysis when you get a signal. You have to check for yourself if this setup is actually there with the major and the steeper trend line. So if I take the trade, if the rules fit, I don't even have that indicator attached because mostly I just let the scanner do its work. So I get the notification, go to the pattern and mark my lines if it looks like it is a good setup, I'm gonna take the trade. And why this pattern occurs, the additional rules and the entire anatomy of this price behavior will be available for the members of my private group soon, probably by the end of the month, as well as the indicator and the scanner for this. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Even if you don't join my private group, I hope you got something useful and maybe found like a new strategy for you. This is a really high probability strategy with really good setups. And if you have any questions, write a comment below and talk to you soon. Until then, happy trading.